Okay, so this is a BR20 burner that's working perfectly well. A couple of things if you've got issues getting a successful ignition or flame out of a BR20 is turning the silver wheel down to something like a 1 to 2 figure, so you can come in on that, Pete, and set the air down to around about a 5 or a 6 mil gap. That gives you a known starting point. So what we'll do right now is just before we start, we will just check we've got oil inside the tank and do some basic checks. Okay, so particularly if you're not getting any ignition or no flame after the motor starts, check that you have oil inside your degassing pipe, and really the only way to check that is with this torch. So I can see that our oil level is around about there, and there's the oil up here in the degassing pipe. It's very important to check that. Make sure that this is kept reasonably straight for the first 300 mils. Okay, so that's the first check. So we've got oil here. That means we've got oil in the preheat tank. I put my fingers on the top of that and it feels nice and warm, so the gun is pretty much ready to go. So what we'll do is we'll just run it up for a second and we'll see what happens. Has this got the energy save on it? You might as well pause that, Pete. Okay everybody, this is a BR20. It's just gone through its purge cycle and it's about to start. Okay, so the purge cycle lasts for about 10 seconds. And it's after that 10 seconds, during which the spark runs, that this solenoid valve right here opens up and permits oil to get through to the nozzle. So what I'm going to do is just shut it down. And particularly if you're having any oil ignition problems and you know you've got spark, this is a real good basic check. So we're going to start it up again. And I'm going to put my finger on this solenoid coil and feel for it to open up. And it also normally makes a pretty loud click. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There it is. I just felt it. Bang. And you've got a successful ignition. Okay, so that's the first thing. Can you see can you feel that ignition? If that coil's not opening up and you can't feel that click, there will be no oil going through to the nozzle. You will not get a flame. Okay, so the second thing that's worth checking is that this guy here is the PE cell, photoelectric cell. Now right now, the ambient air light in this room is tricking the controller into thinking that it is looking at a flame. So if I put my hand on that, the gun has shut down because it thinks there's a problem. Okay? That's what it's designed to do. So what I'm going to do now is turn it off, leave this open to light, and start the burner gun up again. The preheat, okay, so it's just waiting for this version of BR20 with this version of controller, which is the Brahma controller. It's waiting for the oil preheat temperature to lift up, so we'll have to wait for a minute. If you want to just hit the pause button. Okay, so this time, everybody, we've got the PE cell out in the light, and I'm going to start the burner gun. And what's going to happen is the controller's going to say, I am not going to start because there's a fire in the combustion chamber, or that's what it thinks. And our electric motor just cut out, and we've gone into flame failure. So what we'll do is push our flame failure button. And this time I'm going to fool the controller by putting my hand around here, and the controller here thinks it's nice and dark inside the combustion chamber. So the solenoid valve here is going to click, and when that happens I'm going to take my hand off the PE cell. It's clicked and the gun will keep running. Now this is only to be used for testing because quite clearly this is a safety device and it's there for the controller to determine whether there's a flame there, whether there's a flame not there, and the quality of the flame. So again, if I cover that up, the controller sees that and forces a shutdown. Okay, so it's attempted one restart and now it shuts down for safety reasons. Again, we've gone into flame failure. So if I ask you in the field, you're a customer with a burner gun that's having a problem and you know you've got good spark, I might say, okay, let's fool the PE cell. And what I'm talking about is hitting the reset, putting your hand over here, and checking if the solenoid valve opens up. Then releasing the PE cell, which I'll demonstrate one more time. And we're now going to have to wait for the oil to warm up again. So you might as well stop it again, Pete.